Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Before we begin, make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit that bell icon so that you don't miss any new content that I make for you guys. So in today's video, I'll be talking about top 10 action/romance anime featuring overpowered main characters. So let's get straight into the video. How a realist hero rebuilt the kingdom. Kazuya Soma, a 19-year-old aspiring civil servant, is left all alone after his grandfather dies, with no one to call family. He is unexpectedly transported to the Elfrieden Kingdom, a small alien country in another world, to serve as a hero. The world is in danger due to an ongoing war with a demon army, and Kazuya was summoned to help in the conflict as an offering from Elfrieden to its allies. Dissatisfied with being used as a pawn, Kazuya decides to assist the kingdom in reviving its ailing economy through administrative reform rather than adventuring or war. After being crowned king of Elfrieden and betrothed to the princess, the realist hero, Kazuya sets out to assemble a group of talented citizens to assist him in his bureaucratic battles to get the kingdom back on track. Strike the Blood. Kojo Akatsuki's days as an ordinary high school student in Itagami Island's Demon District come to an end after a fateful encounter endows him with vampire-like abilities. It isn't long before he is thrust into the spotlight when it is revealed that he is the fourth primogenitor, an enormously powerful vampire whom most regard as a legend. Fearing Kojo's destructive potential, the Lion King organization dispatches Yukina Himuraji, an apprentice sword shaman, to monitor him and, if he becomes a threat, to kill the boy dubbed the world's most powerful vampire. As Kojo comes to terms with his abilities, and they both struggle to protect the city from various emerging chaotic forces, the two form an unlikely alliance. Chaika, the Coffin Princess. For 500 years, the taboo emperor, Arthur Gaz, ruled the Gaz Empire with an iron fist and subjected his own people to inhumane experiments. But his reign came to an end 5 years ago, when he was defeated in a battle for the capital by a group of mighty warriors known as the Eight Heroes. His death brought an end to the 300-year war between the Gaz Empire and the Six Nation Alliance. Toru Akira is a former war saboteur who is having difficulty adjusting to life after the war because he cannot find work that allows him to use his fighting skills. However, an opportunity presents itself when he meets a white-haired wizard named Chaika Travant. She is searching for her father's scattered remains with a coffin on her back in order to give him a proper burial, and she hires Toru and his adoptive sister Akari to assist her. The Six Nation Alliance, now known as the Council of Six Nations, sends Alberic Gillette and his men from the Clement Agency to pursue and apprehend the late Emperor Gaz's daughter, Chaika. With the shocking revelation of Chaika's identity, the Akira siblings must choose between assisting her in gathering the remains of the tyrannical emperor and maintaining the continent's peace. Devil's Line. Vampires exist in society as part of its underbelly. They do not need blood to survive, but intense emotions can greatly increase their bloodlust, transforming them into uncontrollable monsters. Tsukasa Tera, a 22-year-old university student, discovers the existence of vampires after a tense confrontation with Yuki Anze, a human and vampire hybrid. When her friend is arrested, Tsukasa is drawn to Anze, who reluctantly reciprocates her feelings. This unconventional romance, however, may be too difficult to sustain, as Anze struggles to contain the part of him that wants to devour Tsukasa. Undefeated Bahamut Chronicle. Lux, a former prince of the Arcadia Empire, which was overthrown in a rebellion 5 years earlier, inadvertently trespasses in a female dormitory's bathing area and sees the kingdom's new princess Lyshard naked, incurring her wrath. Lux is then challenged to a drag ride duel by Lyshard. Drag rides are ancient armored mechanical weapons discovered in ruins all over the world. Lux was once known as the strongest drag knight, but he is now known as the undefeated weakest drag knight due to his refusal to attack in battle. Lux ends up attending the female-only academy that trains royals to be drag knights after his duel with Lyshard. Data Live. A supermassive spatial quake, a phenomenon involving unknown space vibrations, devastated the Eurasian continent 30 years ago, killing over 150 million people. Since then, these quakes have struck the world on an irregular basis, albeit on a smaller scale. Shido Itsuka appears to be an ordinary high school student who lives with his younger sister, Kotori. When an impending spatial quake threatens Tengu City's safety, he rushes to save her, only to be caught in the ensuing eruption. At its source, he discovers a mysterious girl who is revealed to be a spirit, an otherworldly entity whose appearance causes a spatial quake. Soon after, he becomes involved in a battle between the girl and the anti-spirit team, a ruthless strike force dedicated to the annihilation of spirits. However, there is a third party who believes in the salvation of the spirits, Ratatosker, which is surprisingly led by Shido's younger sister. Following the battle, Kotori forcibly recruits Shido, offering him an alternative method of dealing with the spirit's threat, make them fall in love with him. The fate of the world now rests on his dating prowess, as he seeks out spirits to charm them. Accel World. Haruyuki Arita is an overweight, bullied middle schooler who escapes through online gaming. But one day, he discovers that all of his high marks have been surpassed by Kuroyukim, the popular vice president of the student council. She then invites him to the student lounge and introduces him to Brain Burst, a program that allows users to speed up their brain waves to the point where time appears to stand still. Brain Burst also functions as an augmented reality fighting game, with users needing to win duels against other players in order to gain more points to accelerate. However, if a user loses all of their points, they will no longer be able to use Brain Burst. Kuroyukim explains that she chose to show the program to Haruyuki because she needs his assistance. She wants to meet the creator of Brain Burst and learn why it was created, but that's easier said than done. To do so, she must defeat the game's 6 kings of pure color, powerful faction leaders, and reach level 10, the highest level attainable. After the girl helps Haruyuki overcome the bullies who torment him, he vows to help her achieve her goal, and thus the duo's battle to the top begins. Lord Marksman and Vonidis. A war between rival countries is brewing in a fantasy version of Europe. One of these countries, Zektid, has 7 regions ruled by Vanadis, or War Maidens. Eleonora Elenvilteria, one of the Vanadis, launches an invasion against Brunn, their neighboring rival country, armed with powerful dragon-carved weapons. Tigervermud Tigray Vorn, a young archer and earl for Brunn's region of Alsace, eventually has his entire army decimated at the hands of Elin. In an unusual turn of events, Elin spares Tigray and orders him to become mine. What is the significance of this new alliance? Mudun no O to Vonidis is an epic adventure filled with complex war tactics and beautiful women, adapted from Tsukasa Kawaguchi's light novel. Tigray and Elin are caught up in a multinational conflict full of dark secrets, conspiracies, and corruption. Our Last Crusade, or the Rise of a New World. Astral power is a force that pervades the world and is wielded by astral mages. The Empire, fearful of its destructive power, persecutes those who demonstrate their abilities. To flee their oppressors, the tormented mages established the Nebula Sovereignty. Since then, the two countries have been at odds, with the war lasting more than a century. Iska, a talented knight, is sentenced to prison for committing the great crime of releasing an imprisoned witch. A year later, the Empire's leadership decides to release him on the condition that he hunt down a terrifying mage known as the Ice Calamity Witch. Iska agrees in the hopes of bringing the war to an end. The Ice Calamity Witch herself, Alice Alice Lu Nebulous 11, wishes for peace and is willing to go to any length to bring down the Empire. As Iska and Alice both yearn for a crusade that will transform the world into one without struggle, woe, or pain, fate's strings bind them ever closer together, forging a bond that transcends mere coincidence. Kämpfer. Waking up transformed into a beautiful girl may be the stuff of some guy's fantasies. But when the suddenly effeminatized Natsuru is informed by a stuffed tiger that he's now a Kämpfer, a mystical fighter who has to fight other Kämpfers in female form, his life turns into a living nightmare. Aside from the obvious plumbing issues, Natsuru's best childhood friend turns out to be on the other side of the coin, and SHE has a crush on his new female body. Isn't it complicated enough? Natsuru's school has separate sections for boys and girls, so he and she are now enrolled in both classes. According to rumors, he's dating himself. And other Kämpfers at the school want to take her out, and he's not sure which ones mean on a date, and which ones mean permanently. Did we mention that some Kämpfers wield swords and guns? As the daring, new genderbender defender must become a contender or die, hormones, fists, and other body parts will fly. So these were the top 10 action/romance anime featuring overpowered MC. If you like this video, then make sure to hit that like button. Also let me know some of your anime recommendations in the comments section down below. I'll see you in the next one.